At Pepco, we know that rising energy costs are putting real pressure on families and businesses across D.C. Since we don't control most of your bill, we're focused on all we can do to help our customers. Providing assistance through our Customer Relief Fund, investing in reliability to reduce outages and costly repairs, and advocating for long-term solutions. That's how we're helping customers today and strengthening the system for tomorrow. Learn more at pepco.com/energy costs.
WTL. It's time! WTL.
I think we got a show. Oh, yeah, we got a show.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Glasson, joined by
the J.O.
The J.O. And are we crossing over? Are we crossing over from spring into summer? Are we trying to get to those dog days of summer?
Are we trying to get there? I feel like we're there, man. It's hot.
Well, the last time we touched the 80s or almost got there, we got followed by 2 days of snow.
Yeah. And that's a few weeks ago, I asked, will we have another 100-day swing?
Yeah.
Or 100-degree swing like we did, and I think we got pretty freaking close to that. So
yeah, we did.
Are we done with it? I don't know. It sure seems like we could be, but
we had some family in from Minnesota over the weekend, and as they were leaving, like you said, we were out hunting around mushrooms, getting all hot and sweaty, and feeling like, okay, it's finally here. All their phones started pinging and dinging, giving them a severe weather warning that they're going to be moving into a thunderstorm, snowstorm for the next couple of days when they get home.
Isn't that wild?
Oh, my gosh. I'm like, well, see you guys later. Have fun up in Minnesota.
So it's been warm enough then to go after mushrooms then?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a couple good days. So that was a nice little treat over the weekend for all those that like to hunt those mushrooms. And we deep fat fry them. We try to make them as unhealthy as possible.
Okay. What do you pair them with?
Beer.
Beer, there you go.
Actually, we had venison. We had some deer steaks. So that actually is something kind of good.
Is.
A lean steak there. So
all local. Everything about that.
So local. You better believe it. I mean, that's who we are. That's what we push. Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. With that, we got to talk Nebraska baseball. Dropped another midweek series now to the Jayhawks on the road. Very competitive game. But unlike last week, where the Huskers were slightly ranked above the Jayhawks, this was a flip the script. Now, the Huskers are ranked 20th in D1 baseball, but the Jayhawks were ranked 16th. And it was a back-and-forth game. Tucker Timmerman got touched up a little bit. Too many dingers. I mean, that's what it was. And the wind was blowing in. But, my God, the Jayhawks were getting a hold of that ball and driving it out of the park. But the Huskers did battle back like you would expect a Will Bolt team to do. And about fifth, sixth inning, it felt like the Huskers got a slight lead and were going to hold on to it. Bullpen just couldn't hold up. The bats for the Jayhawks, they're for real. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see the Jayhawks make a little bit of a run, maybe even host a regional when we get to that point in June. But currently, Nebraska's sitting at 31-10, 15-3 in the Big Ten. That was a 9-7, by the way, loss to the Jayhawks. So that just kind of shows you what kind of a back and forth type of a game that was. But that also doesn't hurt you too bad, losing to the 16th ranked team in the nation midweek type of a series.
You would think that loss wouldn't hurt you too bad, but it is looking like there's some concerns with the bullpen.
Yes.
And you want to see them rebound this weekend and prove that it's not a concern. And there's some talk that, too, like you just said, about Jayhawks hosting a regional. There's talk of, is this the last time that Nebraska sees Kansas this year? Is it potential that they're matched up again down the line in the tournament? I don't know. I'd be concerned. Their bats are pretty hot.
Well, and that's kind of what's developing here. And I've heard talk of this in a couple articles where, okay, if Nebraska doesn't get that regional, Kansas will.
Yes.
And that might feel like what you're alluding to there. Nebraska might have to run back down to Lawrence where might not want to play there. I'd rather play at Hawks Field.
Yeah, I'd certainly rather have that home crowd feel and that advantage there. I don't know. The bullpen, you move your best starter or one of your best starters, one of your Friday guys into the bullpen just to bolster that just a little bit, and then to see immediate shaky.
Yeah.
coming out of the bullpen. I don't know. There's got to be concern as we're heading into the heart of the baseball season.
Yeah, it's been a boom or bust type of just a pitching staff in general. Ty Horn got kind of roughed up last time he was down in Lawrence and made an outing. But you do have Carson Jasa, Cooper Katsky. That's a baseball name. But these guys combined are 16-0. And Jasa has an ERA of 2.13. Katsky just over 3. So your starters are looking pretty good. Like, we got a formidable, weekend starters there. It's that midweek guys, and it's the bullpen. And here we go. That last outing against Kansas, 9 runs given up on the road last 2 times out.
Oh, can't do that.
Can't do that. But you mentioned it. Have an opportunity here to get back in that winning column, maybe string together a couple of wins together against Illinois coming up over the weekend. Illinois is just a game above 500. Nebraska's bolstering that 15-3 overall record in the Big Ten, and that's what the Huskers have to do. They have to take care of business, win the games you're supposed to win, and that usually serves you well, not just in baseball, but really in all sports. Yeah, certainly
a great get-back situation this weekend. You can watch all the games, too, on Big Ten Plus. Looks like they're all going to be available to you.
Yep.
At what point, though, in the season here does Bolt look at extending innings with those starters, because they are performing very well?
Yeah.
Or do you keep working that bullpen to see if they can correct themselves and just figure out what's wrong? I mean, at what point does Bolt just say, go, guys?
I thought that was an obvious question that I was asking myself watching the game earlier this week against Kansas. Like, Timmerman's having a rough go early. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. And there's also a part of that, which, I'm not a pitching coach. I'm not trying to I don't know their complete game plan and how they're approaching the weekend, midweek, that scenario. But if you get a guy out early and he only serves an inning and 2/3 or something of that nature, well, then he should be available, right?
Right.
Over the weekend. So I kind of, to your point of this part of the season, I think a win is so valuable, so critical right now. And you had a chance there to kind of split the series on the road with the Jayhawks, getting that nod to host that regional if it comes down to Jayhawks versus the Huskers. And I feel like you kind of let one slip.
Yeah, this was a big game.
It was a real big game. And Nebraska still has a lot of good things going for it, one of which being, and we talk about this in all sports, you can't overlook the attendance. Hawks Field has been selling out, big crowds. That's always been a big part of why we get so many bids, to host regionals, to do that kind of things. And this year is no difference. Sweeping the number 12th ranked USC Trojans at home. Every one of those crowds was a sellout. So that sets the table. That sets the table to host a regional for the first time since 2008. But, I just felt like that Kansas game, man. You got to get it.
You got to get it. There's just some games you go for, especially if it is mid-April. I mean, people will say, oh, it's a little early. But, no, games like that are what are looked at when we get into May and they're making those selections.
Well, that's where, you don't really raise an eyebrow of, okay, they swept Illinois. Okay, they swept the Rutgers. Well, that does matter.
It does matter, yes.
And every game's a big game when you lose it.
Yes.
But it just felt like there's something to be had there. I do feel like this is a special season in the fact that for the first time since 2017, they beat the Creighton Blue Jays.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why that's been such a tough hurdle for these Huskers as of late. Dating back 5-6 seasons has been so difficult to do. But this year they did it.
And it's a mental thing too. Once you get past that and you get your fan base even more jacked up, it certainly helps that confidence.
Yeah.
Moving forward. That was a big win.
It was a couple of wins there. And unlike seasons past where Nebraska wouldn't get the nod, not only to just host a regional, but get a better seeding, just get in the tournament sometimes, when they're that bubble team. It's completely different now with USC, Oregon, and UCLA. Number 1 ranked in the nation, UCLA, in the Big Ten Conference. So you can't go to that, oh, yeah, but they don't play anybody in conference. That story, that's gone. That's over with now because I guess the Big Ten is just taking over everything everywhere.
That seems to be the case. UCLA above and beyond the favorite right now to win it all once we get to June and get into Omaha. Nebraska's hanging right around Oregon right now, so
USC.
They're kind of in that range. But, Big Ten. Man, Big Ten sure looks like to be the conference in all sports.
Right. Well, and it's amazing in baseball here where it's a completely 180 from just a couple seasons ago where that was a hindrance. Even to the Michigan team, that great Michigan team, that was the narrative heading in to mid-June was like, yeah, but they're coming out of the Big Ten. You know, once you get past Nebraska and Indiana, who have they played? Who have they beat? It's not the case this year.
Not the case.
And to build your resume, you know, you cannot overlook Nebraska sweeping USC. Walk-off fashion. How about that? That was so much fun.
Well, anytime you get a walk-off, it's fun. Get you jacked up.
Let's end this segment on a positive note. We start with Kansas. We're going to end with USC.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to project into the future. I really want to sweep Illinois. Right?
It's set up to be a sweep. I mean, it sure
Come
looks
on.
like
Come on.
this is the get back of all get backs. And on the road, this would be the way to do it.
Exactly. And, get out there, go on the road, pick up 3 wins. As you mentioned, they're all going to be on ESPN Plus. Big Ten Plus.
Big Ten Plus, yep.
6 o'clock is that first opening pitch, I believe, on Friday.
Friday night, yep.
And this is a team, 1 game above 500, so not a terrible team, but it's a team you are more than capable of handling.
Yes.
Take care of business, right?
Yep. And I just want to give a quick shout out, too, to the softball team.
Oh, my
who's
gosh.
number 1 in the country.
Yeah. They were on TV the other day, too, Nebraska Public Media. And early in that game, UNO jumped on him, hit a dinger early. So Nebraska had to kind of fight and claw and scratch back into that one. But,
they take care of business there, yeah.
God, they really do.
And in front of a big crowd. Like, there's big crowds. You were talking about the crowds going out to see USC, Nebraska for baseball. But, man, those crowds are showing up for this number 1 softball team as well. And, kudos to Husker Nation there.
Jordy Fromm has a couple of just insane stats that she's building on and breaking her own records. That is a very, very fun team to watch. She had a stat last year where she's like one of 2 players where she scored more runs than allowed. Like pitching-wise, she's one of the best pitchers, but she actually scored, like got around the bases offensively than she actually gave up a year ago.
Man.
And she's on a pace to do that again this year. Just
shaping up to be a good June.
It really is. A lot of fun here. A lot of fun on the diamond, whether we're talking softball or baseball this year for the Huskers. You heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is NordVPN. Browse, work, and play online with confidence thanks to their world-class cybersecurity. Shield your online activities, hide your virtual location, and block everyday internet threats with NordVPN. Receive up to 77% off when using our WTL link, which is WTL down in the description below. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.
WTL.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your Andy Class, and joined by
The J.O.
the G-A-O. And you are wearing, is that like some official merchandise? You look like you could be coming out of the pen there, the bullpen for the Padres.
Well, yeah, it's official merch. San Diego
Official
Padres,
merch.
baby.
For those watching on the YouTube channel, you do wear a lot of San Diego gear.
Yes.
Whether it's Bolt Up or what is the Padres tagline? Do they have a couple of them?
For the faithful.
For the faithful.
For the faithful.
Wow, that's like deep.
It is deep.
That makes me want to be a fan.
I mean, this is a franchise that is desperate for a championship, and they are. And you know what? And everybody shows up. Like they have sellout crowds just about every single home game.
Yeah.
They're top 2 or 3 in attendance in all of baseball, and this is a team that it's a victory when we make the playoffs. So
right.
That it's all for the faithful.
When I think of West Coast baseball, there's a couple palaces out there, and I think of the Padres. I think of San Diego
Park. Yeah,
Petco Park.
One of the best. Actually voted the best for 2 years in a row.
Really?
Here. Yes.
Well, and you got some characters. I love that. You got some characters out there. You know,
You talking about the fans? Or you talking about Manny Machado?
I'm Manny Machado.
Okay.
Who's your guy that comes out of the bullpen?
Mason Miller.
Oh my God! He's reintroducing a whole new wave of fans to corn. See, that's what that's what these youngsters are missing out on. Like now they're getting a little bit of a backbone.
Yeah, that entrance, you got to check it out. If you haven't seen Mason Miller's entrance when he enters a game, it's incredible. I mean, he's the Grim Reaper. I mean, he literally, his strikeout rate over a couple of seasons is like 97% or something. Like he just mows them down.
He's starting to remind me of Mariano Rivera when they called him in and they would play Enter Sandman from Metallica. Yep. You knew it was over. You knew your team didn't have a shot. Like there was a stretch there in the 90s where when he entered the game, it was over.
Well, we got him from the A's. I mean, do you kind of, does that hurt?
I'm over it.
Okay.
That's what the A's. That's what my A's, the swinging A's, are. We are a developmental program for the rest of MLB. So, congratulations, San Diego, the Yankees. And the Yankees have kind of gone full circle with this. Once a guy's used up and he's like getting into his 40s, that's when the A's will get him back.
Oh, yes.
So it's kind of it's not the end of the deal of the bargain I want to be on as an A's fan, but that's where we're at.
And normally when a franchise does that, and that's the strategy, it's to sell tickets. No, the A's got to be selling tickets using this strategy.
The A's can't even sell out a AAA ballpark. I don't even know what's going on. I can't believe Major League Baseball is allowing what's going on out there with the Athletics. And what are they? They're averaging like 2,000 fans in a minor league ballpark right now.
Yep. The Storm Chasers, they're right in the same ballpark.
Storm Chasers they attract more.
They've got to.
How embarrassing is it that the Savannah Bananas outsells you by 5x?
Well, Savannah Bananas, they're the hottest thing in baseball.
Savannah Bananas.
I mean, that's championship level baseball. I mean, that's a whole different deal.
It's something. It's fun. And if it's growing the game and getting more kids involved and interested, I'm all for it. I'm just using it as a reference. Like this novelty team is 5x selling tickets compared to this professional team that's playing in a AAA ballpark out on the West Coast somewhere.
I'm excited, though, when they do move to Las Vegas to see the new ballpark and just feel the excitement there. Because you would think ownership has to invest in the team at that point.
You would think so. But I don't know. We've seen a lot of things with the A's over the years. But I am looking forward to that new stadium out there in Las Vegas, if and when they do get that done. For the here and now, we got to talk about some teams, some clubs that have a lot of interest with our immediate listenership, and that is the Minnesota Twins, the Kansas City Royals, and the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, they've been hot.
How about the Rockies?
Yeah, it appears they've got the Dodgers number, which is wonderful because as a Padres fan, take care of business over there, Colorado. Take care of the Dodgers. They're the only team this season to take a series from the Dodgers.
Wow.
Super impressive. And they were just off to a hot start. Far better reach in their first month so far than they've had in years.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. And, you kind of roll your eyes. Everything's all these clickbait and, the titles, they're trying to just spark interest and everything. Right. And I think one of them is like, are Rockies a for real World Series favorite? Come on. Like, we're not out of spring ball yet, but it's still fun. And hey, they piled up a lot of wins early on.
They did. And then just to put it in perspective, the Rockies are still in last place in the West.
Yeah.
And they are still under 500. But to pile up 9 wins quickly and early and take care of the Dodgers the way they did, it is fun to see their growth. Because this was a team that was like, can they get one win in a month? I mean, they were really looking at that.
I know. It's unreal how bad they've gotten over the last couple of years. And a trendy contrarian pick is their run line at plus 1.5. Like all run lines are. But you're getting that for a plus 160. And we've seen the Rockies. They're more than capable of pulling that off. They can lose by just 1.
Yes, they can. As they did just the other night to the Pods. So 1-0. Yeah, there you go.
Right there. Congratulations to all you bettors out there taking the Rockies on that run line.
I lost. I was on the other side of that.
How could you?
Just to be honest, I did lose that one.
Well, hey, that's why full transparency here on Where's the Line. We don't just get up on our soapbox when we hit a bet.
Yep.
We go through it with you guys when we miss as well, and that's a great case in point. I didn't mean to bring that up. I didn't know that happened to you.
Yeah, it was something, because those Padre games, they certainly end real late at night. So I went to bed thinking we were up 1-0. Oh, this is going to be a winner.
Yeah.
Woke up to a 1-0 victory.
That's what it was. That's where it stayed. Okay. Yeah, you still got the win there for the Pods, though. Another Bennett wager, a future that's really picking up a lot of steam here, is the Twins and their win total. Now, this opened up at 72.5, and a lot of people are still thinking under.
Oh, yes.
Now we are starting to see a full-on flood of bettors taking the over at 72.5. And let's see here. Currently, the Twins are rated 500.
They're at 500.
They're rated 500.
They're in second place in the Central.
Okay.
This is an ownership group that completely decided to not invest in their team.
It felt like a real life movie with back when they were called the Indians, the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, Major League.
Yeah, like the script overlapped with what the Twins ownership was trying to do as far as sell the team. Well, maybe if we tank, we won't fetch such a big number and we'll be able to sell.
Right. It did look exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then they decided they backed out on the sale. So then it's like, all right, well, now maybe they'll invest in the team a little bit. No, it's quite opposite. They doubled down on it. Anything with value is gone. And that's I feel bad for Twins fans because if they do continue this tear that they're on here early, are they going to be sellers or buyers when they get to the trade deadline? I'm concerned for them.
Yeah, I am too, and I think we've seen it before where they're just going to sell, and it'll just be like a nice little cherry on top for the ownership, and then they're going to send out on Instagram, hey, we sold Buxton. He was hot and didn't get hurt. I got a new yacht. Check it out. We're on Lake Michigan right now.
No, I will say one thing they did do, which is impressive for fans, is they have a happy hour. So before home games, so before first pitch, beers are stupid cheap. So happy hour is incredible. And one time they had a game where traffic was extremely bad outside. Maybe there was a car accident or something. So they extended happy hour because they knew fans were late coming in.
Okay.
That's a call that I think all ownership should really be looking at around the league.
I also like the idea of a reverse happy hour. Rather than, it's the seventh inning, we're going to stop sales. No, amp up the sales in the seventh inning. I mean, I want this crowd at a fever pitch, a frenzy in the bottom of the ninth. That's what I want, right?
Man, that would be next level marketing that I can get behind.
I tell you, like we got something going on here at WTL. Real quick, I want to get your thoughts on this. Byron Buxton is getting way too many individual player props on his hits and total bases. What is your message or your thoughts to the listeners out there? Because I feel like those lines are so sharp and they focus on the big names and the all-stars. My thought is maybe steer clear.
Yeah, I mean, really think about it. A player being successful 30% of the time is extremely good in baseball.
Batting 300.
Which means 70% of the time it's failure. So what do you think your odds are when you're looking at those player props? I mean, it definitely isn't waging your side.
And the same can be said, and it is. I just looked into it. Bobby Witt Jr. for the Royals is gaining so many individual player props on all these different apps. And it's like, and they're getting rolled into these parlays. I mean, so you're going from less than a 30% chance of winning just the one-on-one bet to what, a 5% chance?
Right. Yeah, that's certainly the house. It clears, it's clearing for the house, but certainly not for the better.
Well, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is Beto's Trade Club, where emotional gambling becomes intelligent, data-driven trading. Use code WTL for 30% off. Start your journey with Beto and experience the power of daily AI-driven sports trading. Visit betotrade.club to get started. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.
WTL.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
No, that's not how you uphold the law.
WTL.
Welcome back to WTL, Where's the Line? As always, my name's Zach, got my cart partner here, Tallon, and we're talking about the Zurich Open this week. How you feeling?
Feeling good. It's a fun event. It's a different event. We're down in New Orleans. I think that's kind of a fun and different city, so it kind of fits. But, for those of you that don't know, it's kind of a different format from the rest of the season. We got all these guys playing in pairs. They do a couple rounds of best ball, a couple rounds of alternate shot, so it's a different feel, different look, kind of is a big change-up, I'd say. The only other time we really get these formats are Ryder Cup. So it's a fun tournament. You don't get a lot of the big names, but you get some, which makes it interesting.
Absolutely. So kind of touching back, we talked about it's in New Orleans, so I know you've been there before. So what are you feeling about the good Southern kind of comfort of it, and what's your favorite food from when you were there?
Well, I don't know how these golfers go down and don't just eat the entire time they were there. When I briefly visited, I tried to do the whole smorgasbord of New Orleans food. I did the beignets, I did all the seafood, the crawdads, and everything like that. And I didn't have one bad meal while I was there. I will say a very dirty city, though. It was not on the top of my list to revisit, but the food was great.
You know what, though? It's kind of like a dive bar situation, though. Like, the dirtiest places sometimes have the best food that you're going to find. So, maybe that's just the appeal of the whole town.
Yeah, the whole city felt like a dive bar.
All right, so kind of diving in this week. So, it's all pairs going out here for this. As you said, the format kind of alters throughout the day. So, I think that's kind of a big factor for a lot of these guys. They're used to just kind of that standard weekend. You're out there for hopefully 4 days playing by yourself. It's all on you. But, with this format, you're getting the best ball situations, which can kind of help you out if you have a down hole, as long as your partner's got your back. But then you got the alternate shot. So how important do you think it is for the pairing of who you pick to be your partner?
I think it's different for different people. Like Matt Fitzpatrick is a guy that he plays with his younger brother Alex every year. So I think it's nice to have familiarity with who you're playing with. We've seen Shane Lowry and Rory, who are obviously both really good friends and really good golfers. We've seen them have success there because they have that relationship. So I think sometimes the relationship of who you're playing with can be more important than the skill level. If you get two top big guys but they don't get along well, it's kind of more of a vibes tournament, I think.
No, definitely. I kind of like the switching back and forth format. Obviously, like you said, it's kind of like the Ryder Cup, but on best ball, like you have a guy that's pretty consistent. I feel like you can kind of strategize like, hey, you just go out there and get pars, and the other guy can kind of just be sending it all day, trying to get birdies for your team, try and get those lower scores. Whereas in the alternate shot, now you almost feel more pressure than like when you're by yourself. If you go have a bad shot, it's on you. You're going to have to go fix it. But if you have a bad tee shot or you have a chip that leaves this 30-foot putt, now it's on your teammate to have to go up there and kind of handle that for you. And so I think that kind of really adds a little extra pressure to it. I know you and I have kind of played alternate shot before in a tournament setting, and you do kind of feel it when you're on that tee of, man, I got to set this up so that my partner here can actually have a chance at us getting closer.
Yeah, it's a little different when you're not just golfing for yourself, but someone else is relying on you. Golf isn't typically a team sport, so when it becomes that, it can have a different feel and add a different pressure. Obviously, you and I playing best ball or alternate shot is a little different than the pros playing it. We're a lot more likely to shank one into the woods and then have to apologize to our partner. And these guys might just leave it 20 yards short and have to apologize.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like if you kind of look at the history of this tournament, like when they're playing the best ball format, you see some pretty crazy low scores because they're both just kind of going at it all day. But then when they switch to those alternates, that's kind of where you see the real shift in the standings, because the teams that can just go out and birdie bogey on best ball, but when they now are in the format of having to switch back and forth, the scores are nowhere near as low on those days. And so I think that really kind of shows the difficulty of it, but then also shows that, like, if you're good enough on the best ball day, you almost just have to kind of hang on for those alternate days to really kind of put yourself into position.
Yeah, it's a fun format. I wish we saw a little more of it. I also, it'd be cool to see a lot of the top guys there. I don't know that you could make something like this a signature event, and I also don't know how often you'd want to see this on the tour. I don't want to say gimmicky, but you want to see these guys playing their best, playing for themselves. But I think it's a fun switch up. I don't know. I think it's interesting to watch. I wish we could see Scotty here and Xander and all those kind of guys pairing up as well.
No, definitely. Do you think it'd be more interesting if the course was set up either super easy or super difficult? Like, would it be fun to set it up super easy so you're seeing just crazy scores, guys are going at it all day? Or you set it up super difficult to where even when they're playing this format of a team schedule, they're just struggling out there all day long?
I think it'd be kind of cool if it was at one of these courses, that's like a Pebble or I believe it's Torrey, where, different days you're playing on different courses. It's not just like Augusta or TPC Sawgrass where it's, your standard kind of all 4 rounds on the same course. That way you could kind of do it like you mentioned, like, when you're doing the best ball rounds, maybe it's on a little tougher course and alternate shots on a little easier course or vice versa. I think that'd add a fun wrinkle to it as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool, like, rather than being down at sea level, if you took this out to, say, TPC Colorado, give them that altitude and, like, just to kind of add some excitement to it, since this one obviously doesn't get the same viewership as those bigger ones do, but if they're up there in altitude and you're watching guys just hit bombs all day long, like, they're playing a 777-yard hole, but, like, they're hitting these huge drives and being on the green in 2, I think that would kind of add some appeal to it, to where people might be a little more interested, since you're just seeing shots that you don't typically see given the altitude difference.
Yeah, so almost like kind of lean into more the gimmicky style is what you're thinking would kind of grow it and make it bigger.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're just adding some excitement to it, just because given the format, people aren't watching necessarily, but if you just make it over the top, I mean, we've kind of seen with those Capital One challenges, right? Like, they go to these easier courses, they're playing for money on every hole, like, they're making gimmicky parts about it, like, but it gets people's attention. People want to watch it because it's something different and, like, they're adding excitement to it. And so I think it would just give it that kind of extra kick to kind of help elevate it to get a little more viewership for them.
So what do you think is the right amount of tournaments the PGA could or should? Do you think one's a good number per year? Do you think they should do more? Do you think not at all? Just have it be like, what do they do? The match every once in a while. You'll see like Scotty and Rory, I think, played against Bryson and Brooks a couple years ago, and you've seen Tiger out there and things like that.
I would say no more than 2. I almost feel like you could do a smaller one like this, and then, like we were saying, like, maybe do a bigger one, like make it one of those prestige events where, like, you're bringing in all the big names. That way it really draws in viewership, and then, like, you're getting to kind of see them play almost that Ryder Cup format to, like, really make it intense and make it something exciting that people want to kind of watch.
Yeah, I think, another cool thing about this tournament is the stakes that are with it. So, like, this week we have Brooks Koepka, who's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest name in the tournament this week. And if he's on the winning team, that gives him a 2-year exemption. It gets him into, which I don't know that he necessarily needs the 2-year exemption, but it gets him into all the signature events for the rest of this year as well, which I know is something that he would probably like to accomplish. Probably why you see him pairing up with a guy like Shane, who's won here before. They're 2 of the heavier hitters this week. Along with the prize money, that's just kind of another wrinkle. They give out the FedEx Cup points, obviously, like they do at every event. But, just a little something. I think that kind of makes it nice for those guys that aren't quite the bigger names. Like, if they can go out there with someone, play really well, win, and get into all those signature events, that kind of makes it cool, too.
Definitely. All right, let's start diving in on the picks here. Tell me what you're thinking for some maybe top 5s, top 10s. Where are you leaning this week?
So this is a tough one just because you're not picking one guy who you think or can rely on or know is going to play really well. It's 2 different people, so anything can really happen. And the odds to win kind of reflect that. I think the favorites, as I'm looking at it here, are the Fitzpatrick brothers, and outright winners, that's plus 1175. Obviously, Matt's coming off a big win last week at the RBG Heritage. So I like them to go top 10. I think Matt's been playing really well since even before Augusta. He kind of had a nice little showing there, coming off a win, obviously. But I'm gonna my pick to win is coming in at plus 1450, and it's a team I already mentioned. They're 2 of my favorite golfers. One of the guys has some motivation to win, and that's going to be Brooks and Shane Lowry. Again, Shane's won here before with Rory. He picked another multi-time major winner in Brooks. So they're 2 of the heavier hitters. They're 2 guys that I think will play well together. They have somewhat of a relationship, I would imagine. They're both Zurich guys. So they've met. I'm sure they have a little familiarity with each other's games. I think they live near each other. They practice together every now and then. So that's my pick to win. I also like the Fitzpatrick brothers. That's the kind of 2 chalky picks. I think those 4 names I mentioned are all in the top 2 to win it, but that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Nope, I like that. I'd like to go inverse on that. I'd take the Fitzpatrick brothers to win it. They've done it before, and obviously they have a lot of familiarity with their games. They've been doing it forever. I do like Koepka and Lowry for top 5. And then kind of my further down the board pick, I'd probably take Ryan Thagala to be a top 10. Thagala is a pretty solid player. I think the format will work out fine for them, and I think that they can easily squeeze into top 10 just kind of given the field. And so those would be my picks. Obviously a little chalky, but you kind of have to go with the name since they're going to at least be playing their own ball for 2 of the days, which should almost be enough to kind of help separate them from the field.
Yep, and one more group to throw in here. I know we're kind of up against it, but Griffin and Novak, they are the returning champs from last year. Griffin obviously played really well last year, so another team to watch out for. If you don't want the top 2, I think they're down at like the 5th or 6th best odds there. So still a little bit chalky, but a couple names for everyone to look out for this weekend.
All right, well, thanks for tuning in this week. This has been another segment of WTL, Where's the Line?
WTL.
Capitalism is the only way, Leslie. It moves our country forward. It's what makes America great, and England okay, and France terrible.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Glassman, joined by
The J.O.
The J.O. And run us through those handles because you are all over the place. You got so many things going on. You got a podcast. You're doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, hit me at on X. It's at J.O. from Nebraska.
From Nebraska.
And then anywhere that you search, you can find Laugh With Me podcast. Search that up, and you will find everything that we are doing.
You know, every once in a while, I'll catch myself scrolling back and listening to some old ones, and I got some favorites. What would you suggest if people don't know you or haven't got into Laugh With Me? What would be one that you'd say, like, you need to go back and listen to that one?
So there's an episode titled Pepper Spray Attack Survivor, which the episode's about exactly what the title says.
That's a true story.
It is a true story.
You're a survivor.
I am a survivor.
You're a survivor.
And I don't look forward to going through that again. So, folks, put your pepper spray down when I'm around.
Take
but
the
a fun
Funyuns.
episode.
Just take the Funyuns. I don't care. Just don't pepper spray me, bro.
Exactly. And then there's another episode called How I Got Crohn's Disease. That's a good one. You can hear all about that. That's a fun little tale.
Doesn't sound good for you, though.
Oh, no, it ended up not being so good for me. But it's a fun little tale.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, it's always fun to do, especially if you're getting to know a podcast. Go back and listen to some of the ones that kind of got you to where you are.
And you're going to be on the show soon, right?
Oh, I'd like to, but we're here. We can do it.
We're going to make this work.
Okay. All right. Boy, I don't know, though. I don't have Crohn's. I haven't been pepper sprayed. I almost got tased. Okay.
There's a story. We're gonna have to find out. Or, would be fun is if on the show we pepper spray you so that you know what it was like.
Well, I got a good imagination. I'll just imagine.
Okay. That works too.
Now that I think about it, I ran around with some rowdy guys in college.
Okay.
And the baseball team, they were a rowdy bunch too. And one of those guys got a hold of a taser on my freshman year, and I was keeping an eye on him because he was running around tasing people.
Like Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah.
Tasing.
I'm like, the old jackass days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to get me, but no, they did. I forgot about that.
I've never been tased, so there you go.
I blocked that out. I buried that. Now here it's bubbling back up, but
the shakes.
It is. That is a different type of shake. I'll tell you that right now. So, anyhow, we got to get back into what I like to call our wheelhouse.
Yes.
That is prediction markets, whether it's FanDuel Predicts, Parlay Market, Robinhood, Call Sheet. We're all over it all the time. And you said it best a couple of weeks ago. We are setting the market.
We really are.
We're setting the market. We're not just trying to chase the line or tell you where the value is. We're setting the market and getting you there before anything even happens.
Yeah, we're setting up some markets here that you're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
But then once we say, I mean, these things are happening, so you're going to have to make a move on it.
They're already happening. We're just telling you, get a little, make some money on it too. Have a laugh, get some money on it.
Well, I'm always down to make a little money on it.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to start?
Well, let's go back to baseball.
Okay.
I mean, I think we were talking about the Twins a little bit, but how about those Kansas City Royals? It's been kind of a slow start.
Yeah, 7-16, is that right?
Yeah, 8-16 now.
Okay.
So about 5.5 out of first place in the Central, which 5.5 is not that bad.
No. One weekend.
And Bobby Witt Jr. has kind of had a slow start. I mean, he's getting on base. He's batting .289, which ranks 32nd in Major Leagues there. But he has yet to hit a home run. Only has 10 RBIs. And this is a guy who still ranks third in betting odds to win the AL MVP.
Yes.
Which means he is about to go on a tear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Kansas City Royals will have a summer to remember and will come back to win the AL Central.
Ooh, you've heard it here first, folks. That's like a real prediction there. And I like how you're setting that up because you're saying they've already went through their rough patch.
Yes.
And Bobby Witt Jr., that type of a talent, is going to come around. It's going to come around. You're a Padres guy. It's like when Tony Gwynn would go through a hitting slump. You're almost like excited because you knew he was going to bounce out of it and then be batting 500 for the next couple of weeks.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if a guy like Tony Gwynn is batting .279, well, yeah, he's going to bat 500 for a stretch because he's going to end up averaging .315.
Right.
So you knew that was going to end up balancing itself out. Bobby Witt Jr. is the same thing. He's a once-in-a-lifetime. He's a generational talent, as they say. And he is going to end up in the MVP race towards the end, which only is going to help the Kansas City Royals. They're still not out of it. I mean, 5.5 back, and they're having such a slow start. I'm telling you, I can see it.
And Major League Baseball is the same as the NBA or NFL even, where the tail kind of wags the dog sometimes. Like, okay, the public wants to see these players at the All-Star game are represented on the list to vote for. Even if he is only batting to whatever, we're still going to put him up there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm going to bash Derek Jeter right now, okay? I don't care. Like, he did not deserve to be in that many All-Star games.
No,
he was not one of the best shortstops. He was a good shortstop, but I don't care about it. They're all good. And I will die on that hill. I like Derek Jeter, and, I was a shortstop myself, so I looked up to him and liked his game, but he was a Yankee. That's why he was there.
Yes, and for a talent like Bobby Witt Jr., they're going to put him in the All-Star game, but he's going to earn it, and he's going to get there. 0 home runs, and this is in a season that Kauffman Stadium, they moved in the fence. So he's going to get his. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
He's going to put a couple in those waterfalls. The home runs are coming. He has got too much power.
It's coming. So there you go. There's my prediction.
I like it. Mine's a little bit more exotic. This is more of a niche, whatever that is. The N word. Not that one.
Oh,
not that one.
Like, whoa, where are we going with this?
Yikes.
Save that for Laugh With Me.
Oh, my God.
Like, what are we doing?
This has to do with television, NBC, and they are expanding their crew for Sunday Night Football, or are they Thursday night? They're Sunday Night Football, right?
They're Sunday
NBC?
Night Football, yep.
Did you see who they added to their panel?
I did not.
Michael Petaway Tomlin.
Oh.
The old Pittsburgh Steelers coach.
Okay.
And I think he can do a fabulous job. He's an intense guy, right? He knows football. Out of his 19 years, he only had one losing season as the head coach of the Steelers. Unfortunately, it was his last season, and that's the NFL for you. Oh, you're a game under 500, you're fired.
You're out.
So, but just a fantastic run. I was always a big defender of Mike Tomlin, even though I don't care. Like, I'm not a Steelers fan, but for the last 10 years, it felt like people were calling to fire him. Like, who are you going to
get?
Who's better?
Yeah.
There's only one coach that had more wins, that's won more Super Bowls, those type of things. And that was always Belichick. It was always the Patriots. And I feel like you can't really compare that. I don't think Tomlin cheated as much or as well.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yes.
So anyway, if you know Mike Tomlin, everybody does, he can, like I said, he gets intense and he gets kind of bug-eyed. It kind of reminds you of like Cash Patel, especially when he has an important point to get across. Well, he found something the last couple of seasons, especially on the sideline, where he would wear a gold chain and those sunglasses.
Yes.
and it took him up. He went from like a 8.5 to an 11. He went to an 11. Is he going to wear a chain and sunglasses on the set for NBC Sports when they're talking Sunday Night Football?
Oh, he's 100% got to wear the sunglasses.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's just especially if I'm wondering, is he going to be in studio or is he going to be on site?
I think he's going to be in studio, like behind the desk, right, with the 4-man panel of 5 guys.
Yeah,
and so this is a setting where you're supposed to be wearing your suit and tie, all buttoned up and all that type of stuff. It's not real conducive for sunglasses and jewelry.
True.
But I think there's 2 things going here. You got to get with the trend.
Yes.
Where it's TV, we're going for eyeballs. And to give him his best look, I think he needs the sunglasses. I don't think we want to freak people out with those bug eyes, especially if he's talking Ravens. That's going to get intense.
It's going to get him going.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll save the sunglasses for those Ravens Sunday night games.
So it's going to be like a split type of a bet here.
Yes.
Because, like with these prediction markets, it's a yes-no. It's a yes-no. We're going to get a niche. It's going to be the yes-no, will he wear it? But then underneath that, like within that bet, will it be just time sensitive? Only when he's talking AFC North teams.
It could be an over-under situation where it's, how many times is he going to wear the sunglasses?
Will he come out with the sunglasses on just at the start?
Yeah. I mean, and we'll know. I mean, as soon as the schedule's released, if, Baltimore happens to get that Sunday night game, I'm going to take a yes on this one that he's going to have the sunglasses.
Is he going to be able to rein it in a little bit since Harbaugh's not there anymore?
Oh,
or is it still like it's too deep? We always had to battle them twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's in your blood.
It's too much.
Yeah, he's looking at the logo and it probably starts to get his blood pressure boiling. So, yeah, I could see that. Okay. Hey, I thought when you were going with his look, he always had that big puffy jacket in those cold games, but it was kind of half off. Mm-hmm. Is he going to have his jacket half off when he's on the cold set of Sunday Night Football?
If they get him down the field, you have to, right? I mean, he's developed this look over the last 5 years or so, and I think it's served him well. And I think NBC Sports would be foolish to look the other way here and try and put him in a suit and tie and say, speak professionally or whatever.
Yeah, just go with what works, NBC.
Yeah. Well, we got a little bit of time. Do you got one more?
Absolutely.
All right.
Our guy Drake, one of the biggest stars in the world. He's got a new album coming out, and he did an Iceman pop-up in Toronto. Did you see this? The giant ice block in the parking lot?
I've heard about this only because of my quarterback out in Chicago.
Okay.
They're kind of like fighting over the rights here to Iceman.
The Iceman, yeah. So this giant block of ice, it was like 20 feet tall. He had fans climbing on it. The thing is, inside of this giant block of ice was the release date of his new album, Iceman. Okay. They were his fans were using flamethrowers trying to melt it, ice picks. It was so bad, fans were on top of it. The police were called because it was safety, because of how high it was and it was melting.
My God.
It was a big deal, but they did get to the album release.
The fans got to it.
it. It's coming out May 15th, okay? Here's my prediction, is that before May 15th, Kendrick Lamar will have the album leaked. I don't think the feud's over.
I think you're right.
I mean, there's like a month gap here. I mean, this is way too much time.
Yeah, and there's just too many rats, right? And bad blood between these two. Is the pre-release, that Drake does not want to have happen?
Correct.
Is it going to be altered a little bit to make it sound not quite as good?
See, I think he'll just straight up release it, but then that's going to give him time to prepare some tracks to counter it. Yeah, or maybe even a whole new album to release on that May 15th day. I think this thing could get ugly.
Yeah. It's probably going to be ugly, but I think they both kind of welcome that.
Oh, yeah.
They remind me of two bullies on a playground. Like, and not really punching each other, but elevated voices.
Yeah, you get people talking. I mean, really, that's all that matters. Yeah.
Right. I think everyone needs to recognize Val Kilmer as Iceman. That is Iceman.
100% agree.
What does that say?
And that's with, talks of Top Gun 3. They're making Top Gun 3, but this time without the Iceman. So, yeah, this will be interesting.
Val's my guy. And he will always, and that's with me being a Chicago Bears fan and Caleb Williams, and I get it. You're as cold as ice, got ice water running through your veins, whatever. You can complete passes before the fourth quarter.
You absolutely can. They allow it.
I would throw that at him real quick, too. You can do that.
In fact,
Caleb.
it's encouraged.
Yeah, that would help your passing percentage if you didn't just wait till the fourth quarter to complete deep passes. But we'll work on that as Chicago fans down in the future. But well, that'll about do it for us here at Where's the Line. Be sure to check us out over on YouTube and our YouTube short videos that come out each and every game day, giving you the latest edge possible. We're also over on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. And, of course, we're on X. For Jeremy Odom, a.k.a. the J.O., I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.